My name is Major Retired J. Ambofo. Keep watching My Life, My Story with David.
My name is Isaac Agbosu. Keep on watching my life, my story with David.
My name is Vicky Madeline Ajiampofo. Keep on watching My Life, My Story with David.
In taking the road less traveled in a country where his profession did not enjoy as much prominence in the 80s, Chef Francis redefines the craft, exposing new perspectives and possibilities, ultimately emphasizing a place of service, humility, and commitment. We have been privileged to be given a glimpse into his roller coaster of life in this captivating page turner. He reflects on a life of hope, faith, and the possibilities accompanying a man's gift. He revisits his mother's childhood, his family as a support system, and a humbling journey to the first rank of African culinary experts. This story, told beautifully in a typical African setting before transitioning into that of the Western world, goes to edge on all dreamers with wild talent in various fields and all millennial chefs interested in varieties of cuisines to fetch from the wells of his story for their refreshment in the pursuit of their own journey. Each page of this book is penned with love, with every line coming together to birth this stunning memoir of an African chef.
Hello, guys. Welcome to my life, my story with David. Today's edition is going to be superb. Now, I really like food a lot. I like food a lot. And this person that we are going to interview is an intercontinental chef who have served numerous presidents both in Ghana, Europe, and US. This person is none other than Francis Kodjo Andoh-Otoo. So let's welcome to the program. Hello, sir.
Hello.
You are welcome to My Life, My Story with David.
Thank you, and I'm so grateful for you to have me on your program.
I don't know why you are very scarce to get.
Well, it's first of all, I want to give thanks to the Almighty. I'm not scared, but I'm not scared, but I've been since I've been in Ghana, I've been pulled here and there, and that's why it's very scared to get me around.
So My Life, My Story has gotten hold of you today. So we want to delve into your life story so that the youth watching, we can learn something out of it. Because there's a saying that we the youth need to learn from those who are ahead of us. So this is the chance for us to also learn. So before we move on, okay, I'd like to take you from your educational background, where you started school, who your parents are.
Thank you so much for giving me this platform once more, and I just want to thank your viewers for having this opportunity to watch me and to learn something out of it, especially the youth around and the youth who are coming out now. My name given to me at birth is Francis Kodjo Andoh-Otoo. Uh, from my parents, Lieutenant Colonel Lako Abaji, and then Lieutenant Colonel Nicholas Andoh-Otoo, whom are all from the army of Ghana. My mom is from the eastern region, my dad is from the central region, and so I find myself in the Greater Accra region because I was born and raised in the Greater Accra region, actually. Um, Being a military son, I've lived all my life in the barracks before just journeying back to the United States. Um, I was I started school with the Macam kindergarten, moved on to complex School, which is in Burma Camp, then to the Hosu Home School, which is in South Labadi Estates. From there, I wrote my GCNA level, GCO level. I had the opportunity to go to Hopefully for my first culinary arts. Um, from there to Accra Polytechnic, which is now Accra Technical University, I believe, where I did my stroke 2 and then HND. Whilst I was in Accra Polytechnic, I was doing some corresponding courses from London, which was from Middlesex Polytechnic in London, which I did my food and beverage service. It was a corresponding course. From there, I started applying to my trade, which is the catering. Initially, catering was not what I wanted to do, but due to a single parent who's been my mom, I give glory and honor to, took care of me and my only brother, which was very difficult. So that couldn't allow me to pursue my doctorate course or whatever it is. So I had to now move into something that I can start with, where I can get some start with a trade where money can start coming into the house. So I started with the catering. So far so good. I have found myself at Kokrobite working with AMA, where I started just as a dishwasher, trying to apply the trade. I moved from the dishwashing to be a cook at Kokrobite, which was owned by Mustafa Tete Adi. I don't know whether it's still functioning or whatever it is, but I believe wherever it is, I give glory to him for, with a wife, Heidi Muller, who was a German, who picked me and then started helping me out. At Kokrobite, I had the opportunity to move down to Golden Tulip, where I started working as a cook, like a training cook. Working as a training cook, I was placed in the cold kitchen, where I learned from a lot of cold hors d'oeuvres and cold salads as well. Moving from there, I decided to learn from the other cuisines, where I moved from the cold kitchen into the hot kitchen, from the hot kitchen to the bakery. So I managed to do a little bit of everything there at Golden Tulip. And an opportunity came with La Palme Royal Beach Hotel, where they about to open La Palme Royal Beach Hotel for a conference, which was, I believe it was a NAM conference. I can't remember very well, but I have to go back and then look at the dates. But it was the NAM conference. So they started recruiting, and I got the opportunity to be recruited as I rose from a cook from Golden Tulip to be a chef de partie, which is like a supervisor at La Palme. While I was in La Palme, before I moved to La Palme, I found my wife, who is Sarah Abakuma, who is now who was Sarah Abakuma Vroom. Then I got married to her whilst I was in La Palme for a year. I changed the name from Sarah Abakuma Vroom to Sarah Abakuma Otoo, which we've been living for almost the past 23 years. I moved to La Palme when the NAM conference was about to begin, and I'm one of the pioneers. After the NAM conference, I was promoted to be the sous chef, and then the sous chef is just to the assistant to the executive chef. And I had the opportunity to help open the Ghanaian village in La Palme Royal Beach Hotel. That is one of my concepts in La Palme Royal Beach Hotel. Whilst in La Palme Royal Beach Hotel, I was an attaché to the Osu Castle, where I happened to serve President Rawlings when there's any conference or any dignitaries coming out from outside the country. So I was with President Rawlings for some time, still serving, and had the opportunity to now have, there was a competition called the Frital Competition, which I participated. It was coincided with Maggie Cube or whatever it is, so I had the opportunity to be part of it. I participated in it, and then came the first runner-up. That opened a lot of avenues, and I was given the opportunity to have an advert on with Frital, the Unilever. But I was kept at that time. I was so young. I don't know what cameras. I'm very scared to be in cameras, and I was very shy. So
At what age?
if I'm very, very give and take, I was about 23, 24 years old at that particular age, at that particular time. And I've not been on sets before. I've never been on the camera before, so the opportunity slipped by me. But after the Frital competition, my name was in the dailies, a whole lot of places, and um, from there I had the opportunity to meet the then trade minister's wife, who is Alan Chermartin. Her name is Patricia Chermartin, who interviewed me to give me a contract out of the country. But honestly, at that time, I was really scared not to even get any contract from anybody because I'm a new. I've been appointed new at La Palme, where I was given a new office and everything. So being at that particular age and that particular position, it was a very great opportunity for me. So I didn't want to do anything. But I was doing this little back and forth with catering. So people call me and I do catering for other people in here and there. Can we pause?
So before we proceed, how was the feeling like whenever you recall from being a dishwasher to now the presidential chef? How was the feeling like?
Honestly speaking, in this world, everything that you have at hand, you have to hold it and hold it firmly and then do it diligently. Because you don't know who is watching, you don't know who is looking at you. You might be a cleaner, you might be a manager, you might be any other thing. Whatever you're doing, I believe that when you do it and do it well, one day your light will shine, and when it shines, no one can dim your light anymore. And that is where I find myself now.
Thank you for that. So now the next question has to do with work. Now, how did you end up being the presidential chef?
I give glory to the Almighty and to also my spiritual father, who I served under, and I'm still serving under, is the Most Reverend Sam Kranche Ankra, the Apostle General of Royal House Chapel. In the year 2001, I didn't want to see this man. I am a Christian. I am a Christian, and I'm still a Christian, but not into the charismatic Christianity.
So when you say you didn't want to see this man, what does that mean? Do you resent him?
Well, because I was born and bred in a Presbyterian setup, and to my seeing charismatic pastors and seeing charismatic men of God, I see them to be con men and see them to be like they are yet to extort money from people. And Reverend Sam Kranche Ankra was no exception when I didn't know him from the beginning. So 2021, I had an encounter with him where I had, as I told you, I've been doing a little bit of catering here, and the people call me to have parties and all that. So I had the opportunity to serve at Mensa Otabel's church, where he was doing a program where I had the opportunity to serve and cook for them. And then Reverend Sam Kranche Ankra was one of the guest speakers at that time. He was present, and then after eating, he realized, no, he also had a program which is coming, which was the Convention of Saints, whom he wanted to contract me to also serve his guests who are coming from outside for a week. Well, actually, I didn't want to do it because anytime I see this man on the television and see him preaching, I didn't want to see him at all, because my perception was like, these people are men of God who are ready to extort money from people. So I don't want to see them at all. And he was one of them. Anytime I see them, I put off my television. But one day he was preaching, and I tried to put off my television. My wife told me that no, I shouldn't do that. They've been called by God, and whether I like it or not, they are doing God's work. So I should just, I still didn't want it. So the day I had an encounter with him, he gave me his card to come and meet him, that he's having a program that he wants me to serve. I said, whoa, this is my opportunity to also make money out of this man. So what happened was I honored his invitation, met him at his house with a wife, and then they told me they're having a program for a week and they want me to serve and to cook for them. I said, no problem. But I could not tell him, but within me, I'm taking a whole week off. At that time, I was working at La Palm Royal Beach Hotel. I was taking a whole week off to come and serve you. So my mind was to, and what I planned doing is to charge him 3 times my salary for the month. So that was what I planned doing. I happened to be to honor the invitation. Convention was over. Long story short, convention was over. Then after the convention, serving the men of God, he asked me to kneel down in the kitchen where I cooked for them. And I was like watching him like, I hope you're not going to pray for me to tell me.
No patri.
Exactly. You are trying, I believe you're not going to pray for me and tell me to go without paying me or whatever it is. That's not what I'm in here for. I was spectac and I was sitting, I was watching, and then finally it dawned on me and I knelt in front of him. The men of God gathered around me, they prayed, and a prophecy came through him and told me that I'll be leaving the shores of Ghana within a month. He doesn't know where I'm going, but when I leave the shores of Ghana, I'll definitely serve under him. I still didn't believe what he was saying. Honestly speaking, it was a mirage to me. What are you talking about? So after the prayers and after the prophecy and all that, all I'm looking for is my money. So he called me into his living room, went upstairs, brought me an envelope, and he handed the envelope to me. I walked out of his house. On my way, I opened the envelope. I didn't know what was. I know it was money though, but I didn't know. I thought the charge that I've honored him, that is the charge. Is that amount? Exactly. So on my way, I opened the envelope. My wife was in the car. Me and my wife does the same job. So my wife was in the car that day, pregnant with our second child, who is Gilbert. And I gave it to my wife, and my wife said, open it. So I opened the envelope, counted the money, and it was 3 times what I wanted to charge him. He gave me triple for my trouble. So I told my wife, and my wife said, wow, no, we need to go back. But I said, why do we have to go back to him? Maybe he made a mistake and he's giving me the money. It's my Christmas, whatever. So my wife said no. So we came back. I listened to my wife. We came back to the house. And I said, sir, that is not what I charged you for. And he said, well, yes, what you've done, he loves our work, and he gave it out of generosity. We should take it. It's ours. We were marveled, me and my wife were standing, and he told me one thing. He said, anytime we are in need of anything, we should come to his house. And even the baby she's carrying, she will give birth at ease. Still, I didn't believe in prophecy. I've forgotten about the prophecy he gave me and all that. 1 week to a month to the prophecy, this woman came to La Palm looking for me. I don't know. I was on vacation at that time. She asked everybody looking for me. Nobody could. A strange woman. I don't know where. Nobody could locate me. So she was about to leave La Palm back. Then she met a lady in chef's uniform. Then she asked, I'm looking for one gentleman who is called Chef Francis. He did the fried or whatever it is, and I'm looking for him. Then the lady said, oh, I know he's on vacation, ma'am, but I have his number. I can give you his number. They gave the number to the lady, and the lady called me. Let me back forward. Let me backtrack a little bit. I was a very rascal guy at that time.
26?
Yeah, very rascal. When I mean rascal, I don't take no for an answer. When I mean I don't take no for an answer, I don't want people cheating me. Okay. So all the time, when you do something and upset. Either I fight you and I'll end up in the police station or whatever it is.
Seriously.
Yeah, I was that rascal. That when I mean rascal, I was very, very, very. So,
I thought fancy men are cool.
but I don't like to be cheated. I really don't want to be cheated. So when you cheat me, I either fight you, I get what I want, and I'm out. That is me. And if you can't get what I want, I will beat you up and I'll end up in the police station. So that was that kind of life I was leading. So the lady took my number, gave me a call, and said she wants to meet me at Achimota police station. But she has a contract for me, and she wants to give me a contract. Me, Achimota police station, me and police, we are just like kerosene and fire or petrol with fire. We don't agree. So I was asking myself, I was contemplating, but quickly I went home. No, my wife was home. I was home at that time. So I told my wife, this is somebody who I don't know who wants to meet me at Achimota police station. The first thing that came out of my wife's mouth was, Jojo, what again have you done? I said, this time I've done nothing wrong. And I don't know why this woman wants me to meet her at Achimota. So I decided not to go at all.
Okay.
I decided not to go. But after sleeping over the night and reflecting over it and all that, they said when you sleep, pillow gives you a lot of, in our Ghanaian setting. So I slept over. I woke up in the morning, told my wife, I'm setting off to see this woman. At that time, I had a one Renault that was giving me headache. When you go about 100 meters, you have to put some water, overheating and all that. I managed with that car, went to Achimota police station. This woman was sitting under the tree. If you know Achimota police, I don't know how the place looks now, but there are a lot of trees around there. It's still. And there was a bench there. This woman was sitting down there, dressed like a housemaid. And I called and she picked, and I could communicate with her. I saw she was the one. I'm like, really? Are you the one going to give me a contract? I didn't tell her, but I was contemplating.
Yes.
So I said, I'm Francis. She didn't mention her name. She gave me a different name. Then she said, okay, she wants to take me home and sign the contract and all that. I was thinking she brought a car where she's going to sit. Because if you are rich enough to give me the contract, why are you going to sit in my Ricket Renault? He said she wants to go with me. She sat in front of my car. With the Ricket car, we drove through Achimota police station, down to Achimota. They were living in, I can't remember the place very well. Went to their house, thinking I'm going to meet another person. Maybe they've sent her to come and fetch me, so I'm trying to think of meeting another person. She said she'll have a sit, thinking she would take me inside. She never took me inside. We sat in the grass, in the pouch area, and I was thinking. But at that time of the year was when, I don't know whether you are old enough to remember that when anybody touches you, your private parts will get missing.
I was born by then.
You were?
I was born by then.
Okay. So the whole country was very scary. When you're even moving around, somebody touches you, you are very careful. You don't want to. So I was very careful. At that time, I've done catering for big people, and I was looking at this woman, very skinny, lanky, dressed in casual. You might not think as somebody who worth what I'm looking for. So she said she wants to give me a contract. I said, well, I said, outside of the country. I said, I'm not going nowhere. I've had a new appointment at La Palme, a sous chef, with my own office. It's just like the assistant to the executive chef. It's a very big position, and taking me out of the country to where? To go and do what? And she said, oh, for a catering, for just a week. I said, no, I have boys that I work with. I have guys that I work with. I can give you one of them to go work with. They will come and report to me, and they will give me my share, and I'll be fine. He said, no, it's you that I want. I'm like, the woman was very persistent. She was like pushing. And I'm like, okay, I'll go and think about it. I've forgotten about the prophecy at that time. I have totally forgotten about that prophecy. So I said, okay, you know what? I'll go home and think about it. This is my number. If I don't call, you can call. I was bluffing at that time because being a sous chef is something great in Ghana. So I was really bluffing. And she said, okay, I'll take your number. But I'm going to give you a call if you don't give me a call. She took my number. And then when I was about to exit the house, she called me back. She said, do I have a passport picture? Do I have a passport? I said, me, passport. I don't even have a passport photograph to get a passport. What am I going to do with a passport? Because I don't have any intention of traveling anywhere. Okay. She said, okay. I said, I don't have it. I said, okay. I should bring her 4 passport side photographs, pictures. And she will take it from there. I've already told you I'm not ready to go and do your contract. So why are you looking for me to even bring you my passport? So I sat in my car, moved from Achimota on the N1 towards Dansoman, because at that time I lived in Dansoman. My wife, parents live in Stinnett Flats, and we live at last stop. So all the time when I come to Dansoman, I come through Stinnett Flats before I go to Dansoman last stop. So on my way from Achimota, I came through the N1 through Sakaman. When I got to the junction of the Apostle General, then the prophecy came back to me. So I just turned and went to the Apostle General and said, Apostle General, this is what I've encountered today. Because he told me that anything that I encounter, I should come and tell him. So when I got to the junction, that is where the prophecy came back to me. Because I've forgotten about it. So when I got to him, then he said, don't be scared, my son. Go, give the passport pictures, and then God will take it from there. Yes, he's spoken, but still, not convinced. I came home. The first place I came to is Stinnett Flats, where my in-laws were living. My wife was waiting for me there. I told my wife, and after I told my wife said, have you forgotten the prophecy the apostle gave you? I'm like, yes, I remember. When I got to the junction, it reminded me. But still, my instinct is telling me, this is a scam. So I'm not very interested.
It's been a scam. She has not asked you for any money in return. So why are you thinking it's a scam?
I was thinking it's a scam because at that time, that is where when somebody touches you, your private part gets missing. That's allegedly. I don't know whether it was true. It has never happened to me, but at Ghana, things fly like wildfire. So everybody was scared. For me to even give you my pictures, I don't know what you're going to do with my pictures. I don't know who you are. How do I give you my pictures? So that fear was there. And that is why I thought it was a scam, or it was a ritual, something they're going to use me for. Okay. That is what I was thinking at that particular moment.
All right. So, fast forward. You served. I would like you to mention the presidents you have served under. I know of Rawlings, may he so rest in peace, and which other ones again?
The first person I had the opportunity to serve was when I was in Lapan and I was attached to the Osu Castle when there are functions, and I had the opportunity to serve the former president, may his soul rest in peace, Flight Lieutenant Jerry John Rawlings. I've never met a man down to earth. I've never met a man who is so into, he's down to earth in the sense that I even mentioned my dad's name. He looked at me and he made a joke. Oje, Oche, that means in Ghana, you just look like your father, because he knew my father, because my dad too was a military. And during the coup, Rawlings was the people who chased my father out of the country because of whatever it is, which it has happened. But Rawlings was I loved him to death because he is somebody who encourages you to do things. From there, I had the opportunity to serve former President of the United States, Bill Clinton, when he visited Ghana for the second time, where he was lodging at La Palm Royal Beach Hotel, and I was part of the presidential call who had the opportunity to serve him, where I prepared him one of our Ghanaian local dishes, which is the spinach stew or palava sauce with rice and yam, and then plantains, which he enjoyed. And he looked at me and said, "You go far," and that's one opportunity I got to serve the former president of the United States. From there, I had the opportunity to serve former President Akuffo, J. Akuffo, the gentle giant. I had the opportunity to even travel with him when he was in the United States to the West Virginia in his last tenure, his last year in office, and we had a great time. It was almost a week, and he really enjoyed my cooking as well. And I had the opportunity to serve former President, may he so rest in peace, John Evans Fifi Attamills, whom apparently worked with my uncle Seth Abaji, former House of Folk chairman. When my uncle was House of Folk chairman, Fifi Attamills was his assistant. But I had the opportunity to serve him when he was a president, when he visited the United States of America. And then I had the opportunity to serve the former president, John Mahama, when anytime he visited the United States, anytime there's a UN assembly and all that, I had the opportunity to serve him, including the wife, and then also the latest on the block as the present president, President Nana Addo Danquah Akuffo Addo, whom I've been serving since he's been in office. Anytime he comes to the United States, he enjoys my cooking. UN Assembly is always there. I always serve him. And recently, I served him at the African Summit, which was held in the United States. I had the opportunity to be one of the chefs attached to the summit. There were about 6 to 7 chefs, which I was one of them. So I'm so grateful in serving this dignities, and it's just a privilege. I'm so fortunate. I'm so grateful. Apart from that, I had the opportunity to serve the late Kofi Annan. I had the opportunity to serve the late Desmond Tutu of South Africa. I had the opportunity to serve the present Asante King Otumfuo Osei Tutu II. He calls me by the name Francis, and I call him Daddy. Although he is the king, I give him that reverence. And anytime he comes to the United States and he have any, is it Akwesida or any driver, I'm the chef that serves him as well. And this is just by the grace of God, by coming out with only one prophecy. A prophecy from the Apostle General, Reverend Sam Kranchi Ankra, and her wife, Mama Rita. They have really held me up to this, and I still serve under him, and I still worship with Royal House Chapel. And it has been so, I don't know what to say, but just to say that I'm so privileged, because there are better chefs in town, better chefs around the world, but if God wants to use you to do certain things, he has a way of turning things around. And I'm so grateful, very, very grateful to the Almighty. And I want to take this medium and this opportunity to tell the youth out there that whatever that you are doing, being a cleaner, being whatever it is, even if you are selling, do it, and do it digitally, because you don't know who is watching, you don't know who is looking, and you don't know when your light is going to shine. But once you have something doing, it's better for you to go stealing. It's way better than for you to go prostituting. It's way better than for you to be on the street. It is never good to do that. All I want you to tell each and every youth is to make sure that whatever you are doing, do it, and do it well, and one day your light will surely shine.
So, are you based in Ghana?
No, I'm not based in Ghana. I'm based in the United States, in Maryland, and I work with the Embassy of Ghana as the official chef of the Embassy, Washington, D.C., and I have my own company which I've established in the United States, which is called the Fransa Catering Services LLC, where we provide the tri-state with catering for the Ghanaian community, which is Maryland, Virginia, and Washington.
So the last question has to be with, have there been any case where someone has reported, oh, I ate Francis food and I'm having a running stomach? Had there been any case like that?
To the glory of God and to thank God. I've never encountered anything of that sort. But I'm open to criticisms, because without criticisms, you can never move on. So anything I do, I don't want to have the good report. I always want to have the bad report so that I can be better off all the time. And that has made me who I am today, me and my wife who we are today, because my wife is also a chef. And I thank God for giving me that open edge to allow criticisms. But I've not had any encounter that somebody has been to the hospital. I've not had any encounter that somebody has eaten my food and said, this is not a good food. Yes, I'm human, things might happen, but to the glory of God, nothing of that sort has ever happened to me, and I give glory and honor.
Thank you. Thank you for that. What is your weakness as a chef?
As human, I have my weaknesses, and my weaknesses are when things are not going wrong, I get very agitated because I want everything to be perfect. But at times I do forget that I'm human, and the way I want it is not going to be the same. And working with people, I get very agitated at times when things are going wrong, and that is my weakness. And I give glory and honor to my spiritual father who is in the United States, Reverend Emmanuel Agomeda, for giving me the patience. He's walked me through some patience, and today I am who I am, and I'm getting out of that. So that's my weakness, but by the grace of God, I'm getting out of it.
So, talking about your weakness, I'd like to ask you this final question. Then we end the interview. What is your greatest, how do you call it, strength that you want us to know? Your greatest strength.
The greatest strength with me is everything is great to me. Everything that I do is great, especially if I'm 7 kids, 7 ordinary people, 7 great men of God, 7 presidents, 7 kings and queens. I use the same enthusiasm to serve. It doesn't matter whether you are a child, it doesn't matter whether you're a king or you're a royal. Because I don't know who is watching, and that is the greatest thing I always cherish, and the greatest charisma God has given me, and I always want to do it and do it to the latter.
Now, before I let go of you, personally, I've seen your books or your book, The Memo of an African Chef. Can you spend 1 minute explaining what this is all about?
Honestly speaking, I've been wanting to write this book for 10 years back. But thank God it has come to a fruition this year. I wrote this book to honor my brother, my late brother, to honor my late grandmother, whom took good care of me, and to my wife and children, and to my mother. I wrote this book for the youth to know that trying to get something is not easy. You have to go through a lot of challenges and a lot of process. That is why I've penned each and every thing of my life in this book for people to read and for people to know that nothing comes on a silver platter. This will encourage somebody. This will encourage the youth around that whatever you start, you can finish it. Without God, you cannot do anything. And with God who has guided me through each and every step of my life, I've made this book a fruitful book. It has a lot. It entails a lot. It entails my life. It entails where I began and where God is taking me. I've not ended yet. There are more books coming out. This is just to showcase who I am to the world. And now, after this book, we are going to now have the recipe books, which is going to be an international recipe book, which you can use in the United States, you can use in all around the world. So that is, look out, and that is coming out pretty soon.
All right. Thank you so much for coming on the show. One last question. Your advice, just advise my viewers, the young guys, the young ladies who want to become a chef like yourself?
My advice to the youth out there, my brothers and sisters, since I'm in the I've been on holidays for a month in Accra, Ghana. I've walked down the streets. It's so pathetic to see the youth walking without doing anything. Don't wait for anybody to hand over something into your hands. You can do it, and do it by learning your own trade. All of us cannot be in the universities. All of us cannot be in the offices. All of us cannot be presidents. All of us cannot be clergies or whatever it is. But what God has given you, the handiwork or the trade that God has given you, you can just open a little small thing in your front yard, and that can be a bigger thing in future. This is going out to the youth. Prostitution is not something that I will encourage anybody to go into. Arm robbing is not something I will encourage the youth to go into. Walking on the streets, scamming people will not be something that is going to land you well. Find something doing. Find yourself a trade, and you surely make it in life. I started humbly, little by little. I know God has not finished with me yet, but the little that how far the Lord has brought me, I'm so grateful. And I know if I continue with what He has asked me to do, it will be a bigger thing in future. I encourage all the youth, please, 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 and please again, the street is not the place for you. The prostitution is not the place for you. The scamming or going to the the computer, whatever it is, and be scamming people is not the place for you. Find a trade and learn. There are so many things you can do with your hand. There are so many things God has put in our brains that we can do. When you started little, your light might shine, and you see somebody will see it and honor you and make it great. Thank you.
Thank you. Guys, before I end, you heard it. From a dishwasher to the presidential chef. If you don't like this story, which other story do you want me to tell you again? Trust the process. Just trust the process and everything will fall in place.